Okay, so first you're going to use a cover stick. Any kind will work, but this will be for your blemishes and your under eye circles. When you see a baby doll or doll face, they have no imperfections, no dark circles, nothing like that. So we're just going to cover all of that up to make our face appear flawless. Now I'm just going to go in with a flat brush and I'm going to buffer all of that concealer out. Next, going in with a good type of foundation, I'm going to use this Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin foundation, and I'm not so much into trying to whitewash my face. It's just more so giving it that even complexion, no imperfections, you know, something like that. So 2 pumps usually does the trick for me. Now here's where the steps kind of interchange depending on what kind of product you're using. I'm going to be using one of these cream blushes, and I usually use a cream blush right before I apply my powder, but if you're going to be using a powder blush, you can do that after your pressed powder. I'm going to be using a cream blush because I feel like it would be easier to control. You can kind of direct the shape a little bit more than a powder blush. So you want something that's really pink, very pinky, not too dark, very innocent looking. So I'm going to be going in with this Maybelline Dreamy Bouncy Blush. I love this kind. This is kind of like what I use, not for fall time, but kind of like for spring and summer because it's very light and airy feeling. But it's very light, and like I said with the cream blush, you can kind of control where you put it. So I actually just went in with this one. This is Maybelline as well. It's the Master Glaze in the stick. And this is in the shade 10 Just Pinched Pink. And I had used the Bounce blush, but it wasn't dark enough for the effect I wanted. So I'm just going in with this one. You can tell it's like a pink, but it's not too dark. It's still on the light side. But I'm just going to be layering this on top of the bouncy blush that I just added. Now for me, it's time to go in with the pressed powder. Here I'm using Stay Matte, any kind will work. And I like to pat this on the skin because you get more product in to your face rather than brushing it all over, because this mirrors your product that you previously applied, and it kind of brushes it off, kind of like, you know, when you put the brush on your skin and brush it off, you can kind of see the particles fly out there. This just kind of pats everything on and, like I said, puts it into the skin. Now if you want a heavier effect, you can kind of tell that I've added a little bit more, like this side looks a little bit different. I'm going in with my Naked palette, and I'm just going to be using that blush. So you can add a powder on top of what you've already added to kind of bring it out a little bit more, if that's your thing. But for me, I want the very bright, dolly cheeks. Now for your brows, and I'm going to be using the CoverGirl, my very sad looking CoverGirl eyebrow pencil. And for the dolly brows, you want something that's rounded. Dolly brows don't have very much of an arch. They're just very rounded. It appears more youthful. It makes your face kind of appear fuller as a whole. So we're going to be doing eyebrows that don't have very much arch. Now here is, besides the blush, now here's where you kind of start adding things in that'll define your look as the dolly look. Now you notice makeup on dolls, besides the blush, there's no eyeshadow. So for this, I'm just going to go in with my Morphe palette, and I'm going to be using this very neutral shade. You're going to want to use a shade that's closest to your skin tone, that kind of adds kind of like a base. Now I'm going to line my eyes, nothing too dramatic, just a simple line on the very top to kind of bring everything out. Next, I'm going to curl my lashes and add some mascara before I do my false lashes. I feel like the false lashes are what really define and bring this look together. So if you don't like false lashes or you don't plan on using them, curl your lashes and use a very good volumizing and lengthening mascara to kind of imitate that look without the lashes. Since I'm going to be using false lashes, I'm just going to be using the CoverGirl Super Sizer Mascara, and I believe it's black. Now the lashes I'm going to be using are kind of like the cheaper Halloween brand. I've seen these everywhere, but they're the very fanned out looking, very thick, especially the kind you would see on a doll. And so they come with the brand Fright Night. They come with their own little adhesive for the lashes. So I'm going to attempt to put them on. Okay, so now that I've done my lashes and argued with them for a few minutes, now it's time for the lips, which will, if you want a basic doll look, then the lips will kind of be the piece, but I'll show you how to do the cracked doll look after that. For the dolly lips, you can do a pink, which is a little bit more of an innocent looking dolly, or you can do a red, which is kind of the not so innocent dolly. For this, I'm going to be using Color Whisper and Pinup Peach. And I cannot remember what brand this is. So before we finish this with the lips, I'm going to go in with that brush that I used for my foundation and pat it over my lips. This will kind of help blend out whatever color I already have. So now for the dolly lips, I'm going to be going in with a more of a pinky color instead of a red. Pink is perfect for the youthful, more younger looking doll, but if you want to go for a little bit older looking, you could use a red color. But with the trick with the lips is to not cover the entire lip, but to kind of make a heart shape on your lip, and I'll show you how. Your lips cover the Cupid's bow, so that's right here going over, and then it'll come down and kind of like a pointed, not too sharp, but a pointed point basically. So for your basic dolly, this is kind of the look you want to go for, the smaller rounded lips, the very blushing cheeks, very round blushing cheeks, and the fanned out very big lashes. But a lot of people like to do the crack dolly, which is kind of the porcelain cracks, like you have use a pen or a pencil, like makeup pencil, and draw little black lines and little holes in your face. And so I'm going to continue with that and show you how to do that. Now, as you can see, I've taken this makeup pencil. You can get it in any kind of Halloween store. I got this with a kit. But what you can see, I've drawn a line and then kind of like a little circle, like a very jagged circle. And I'm going to kind of color in the lines right here. You don't want to color it in all the way because that doesn't give it a lot of depth, just being a big black circle right there. And so I'm going to take kind of like a finer brush. You can use, if you buy a kit with the pen and it comes with a brush, you can use that. But I'm just going to use this and kind of fade the color to the center. So it kind of looks a little bit more faded in the center. And using that pen that you used, you're just kind of draw a few more cracked lines out. Like so. You can draw these anywhere, and you don't have to draw holes per se. You can just draw a line somewhere. You can draw a line, you know, kind of right here if you want, you know, wherever. It doesn't have to be just the holes, but the holes kind of add like a little bit of a depth. You can add as many holes, as many lines, as little, whatever. You don't have to do this at all. Be sure when you are doing this to use a pen that has kind of more of a pointed tip to it. You could actually probably even use your eyeliner that has a very pointed tip to it. Something that is very sharp, that can add the very sharp lines to it, because you don't want very stubby, thick lines for your cracks. So there you have it, a basic dolly look with a kind of cracked detail to it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe and share this video.